right. Good Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Thursday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson. Let's go on and talk about the weather for your Thursday evening going into your future. We have some stuff. We have some stuff to talk about tonight. Obviously, the main thing being on your screen right now, and that is a dangerous multi day heat wave is upon us. And so, we'll talk about that and how we will have that heat wave pretty much starts tomorrow going all the way into next week. Obviously, those warm and muggy nights will continue. We'll talk about that as well. And then we'll also talk about our strong upper ridge and how a high pressure will suppress those rain chances as we get all the way from pretty much this weekend into next week. And then pretty much most areas will stay mostly dry. And again, we'll talk about all this as well. But first, before we even get started with that, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so. Hit the share button as well. Share it with all of the people that you know. We're trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're at 544. 544. We are 6 away from our halfway goal of 550, and we are 56 away from our main goal of 600. So please, if you can hit the share button, share it with the people that you know, and hit the subscribe button if you're watching right now and you have not already, make sure you go on and do so. But let's go on now and talk with the recorded audience for the people who can unfortunately not make it here tonight. Good Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Thursday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson. Let's go on and talk about the weather for your Thursday evening going into your future. Now, looking at the weather alert warnings map first, we do have heat advisories that are out. Now, this goes all the way again for the Wilmington, North Carolina National Weather Service office. That's the Grand Strand and the PD region of South Carolina. And that is for obviously that heat being up. I mean, that can go all the way from to around 107 degrees, and that is for tomorrow. So we do have a heat advisory that's in effect tomorrow for that PD and Grand Strand region. That goes all the way from 11 a.m. tomorrow to 8 p.m. with heat index values up to 107. And again, that's for Darlington, Florence, King Street, Georgetown, Conway, Myrtle Beach, those places that are included in there. Next up, what's going on with the radar? Right now. So you can see that we do have some rainfall going on right now. This looks to be rainfall. Again, there could be some radar just some convergence in there. But for right now, or corruption, I should say, but actually it does look like it is actual showers instead. Even if you move on over here into the Grand Strand region, there is Myrtle Beach right now, it's raining. Going over towards Caroline Forest, it's raining, and then up here in the upstate it is as well. But what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? So we do have some rainfall going on that goes all the way again, like we said, in South Carolina and Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, going into Texas and Florida. Severe storms going through the panhandle of Texas right now. Also some rainfall going on in New Mexico, Colorado, going into Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri. Heavy rainfall going on through there. Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, and even Michigan and Ohio. Wisconsin's also included in there all the way up into Canada. And then also as we move further west, like in Idaho, Oregon, California, Nevada, all have rainfall over here as well. For our cloud cover, we do have some cloud cover going on. This goes again for parts of the upstate, maybe even the central Midlands as well. PD even looking like it could have some cloud cover over there. But low country looks relatively clear, probably the clearest out of the other areas inside of South Carolina. And if we move even into our future for cloud cover, that cloud cover will kind of move its way through and things will actually start to clear up a little bit. This is right here tonight, and we can go all the way to 7 o'clock in the morning. This is where I make my morning forecast update at 7 a.m. You can see that there is barely any clouds in the sky probably at this time at 7 a.m. Again, just a model, just what we could look at for the future. But for the most part, it's looking like it's going to clear up a lot by the time we get to tomorrow morning and even tomorrow afternoon. Look at this. That's kind of a good sign, but also not really such a good sign, because if you have that cloud cover, that obviously could block a lot of that sun, and so it will cool it down. But obviously, with no cloud cover at all, that sun will just be beaming down on you. No relief at all from any sort of clouds or anything like that. Now, obviously, you may have some scattered to isolated clouds here and there that, like a little one might go through, might cause like some shade for like a minute, but then, go away. That can obviously happen, but for the most part, for like a huge blanket of cloud, it's not looking that likely tomorrow. Now, once we get more into like the evening hours, it's looking like that threat for some cloud cover could actually increase a little bit, but right now it's only at that 30, maybe to 40% chance of seeing some clouds in some of these areas. Going into your current temperatures, 81 in Columbia as well as 82 in Orangeburg, 81 in Somerville as well as 80 in Sumter, 80 in Florence, and even 81 in Georgetown and Conway. Myrtle Beach also included in Murrells Inlet, 82 in North Myrtle Beach as well as 82 in downtown Charleston, 82 inside of Aiken, and even 81 in Lawrence, 80 also up there in Greenville, 81 in Spartanburg, and 82 in Gaffney and York. Low temperatures for tonight, 73 in Greenville as well as 73 in Spartanburg, 74 in Anderson as well as 74 inside of Columbia, 74 in Orangeburg, 73 in Walterboro, 78 in Charleston, and 74 also inside of Georgetown, 76 in Myrtle Beach, 73 inside of Kingstree, and 74 also inside of Florence as well. Going into our forecasted precipitation for like the next 24 hours or so. This goes all the way from 8 p.m. Thursday going all the way to 8 p.m. Friday, where there is right now not as much precipitation as we, obviously would be seeing on these maps. Usually you see like 1/100 of an inch to 1/10 of an inch, or maybe even 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch, or 1/2 an inch to an inch, or an inch to an inch and a half. But now it's looking like for now that we're seeing, just these isolated spots, but it's not too inside of the widespread or even scattered category, and that's because we're starting to get a little bit dry. We are starting to get a little bit dry, and so again, like you can see, not a lot. You see 1/100 of an inch to 1/10 of an inch, and some isolated spots, especially up there near that border with Georgia and North Carolina, and then maybe some over there near Cheraw and Camden. Maybe even 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch is possible with the shower that occurs tomorrow. But again, and actually this actually goes through tonight as well, so maybe most of this could actually be for tonight. But for the most part, it's looking like that we won't have that widespread precipitation that we've been seeing. Now, this is the SPC outlook for tonight, and they so far have released the new one. Always do it at this time. Here's the new one right here. Just a little thunderstorm risk that goes from Greenville, Spartanburg, Clemson, Anderson, Aiken. And again, just thunderstorms are possible in those regions. The ingredients are still there, so if a shower is still occurring in these regions, it could definitely still have some thunder / lightning in it. Everyone else, though, not under the gun for any thunderstorms. Now for tomorrow, everyone again has another risk for thunderstorms. Again, everyone inside the entire state of South Carolina, and it's the same for Saturday as well. So thunderstorms still inside the question again for tomorrow and Saturday for the entire state. Now for excessive rainfall, you can actually see that we do have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall for tonight going into early tomorrow morning. Again, that's for minor flooding. That goes for Columbia, Aiken, Orangeburg, Sumter, Florence, Myrtle Beach, the entire low country. Well, most of it, at least the coastal low country, is not really included in there that much, but that's for isolated flash flooding as we move through tonight. Now, again, most of that rainfall has mainly moved through, but it's still there, so we're still going to treat it as We're still going to treat it as there is still a risk. So that's it for the excessive rainfall. Let's go on and look at the models now. So we're going to start off here. This is 9 p.m. right here where we are looking at. And you can see that this is pretty much a good depiction of what's going on throughout the state right now. If you go in and push this forward, though, by the time we get to around 12 to 1 a.m., look at this, nice and dry. And so that's why I said that minor risk of excessive rainfall that we're seeing, that probably will go away. And there's probably no longer a threat for any sort of isolated flash flooding for now. But we do have very nice conditions going on. And even by 1 o'clock, you're not seeing any sort of rainfall or anything like that. If we go all the way into, this is 2 o'clock p.m., you still have some isolated shower activity going on. The sea breeze, still pushing in some shower activity inland, maybe even, like I said, near that South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina border. Have some rainfall up there, like you can see by time you get to around 5 to 8 p.m. And you also have some rainfall over there, like we were talking about in the PD, Midlands, But for the most part, isolated. Isolated. If you continue even more to around 12 o'clock in the morning, this is July the 26th now. Again, you're not seeing anything at all. And by the time you get to 2 p.m. on July 26th, you're still not seeing anything. So from what I got from that, it's looking like that it's going to be a lot drier. It's still summertime, so there will still be rainfall. I'm not saying that it's not going to rain, because somebody definitely will see rain tomorrow and also on Saturday as well. That's why we also have that thunderstorm risk there. But for right now, it's a lot less. It's a lot less widespread, and it's a lot more drier than we've usually have been seeing it for the most part of this summer. So continuing for this even more, so we're going to continue this all the way through to July the 27th, July the 28th. You can still see rainfall pushing in through there, maybe even the 29th as well. You can see all of this active weather that's going to, push right back in again. The 29th, that is on Tuesday, where we can start to see some of this rainfall push through. And also, for excessive rainfall, there was no more excessive rainfall that was expected after we got past tonight. But continuing this forward, after you get past Tuesday, it gets right back to being a bit dry. But then July 31st August the 1st comes in, and it just completely just starts to push in all of this rainfall. Definitely some excessive rainfall that we're going to have to watch for going into like July 31st and then like the early part of August as we continue this. And then you have actually like a little tropical area that we're watching for. I know some people have been talking about it, but it ends up down there in the Gulf. But I'm not going to comment on that because that is still, way more than 10 days into the future. So I'm not going to say anything really on that. Continuing this forward right here, there's just still a lot of rainfall, and then that system just brings us some rainfall. But once you get to around August the 6th, you really can't say too much past that, just because it's over 300 hours. But if this tropical system was to occur, like it's shown, would bring us a lot of rainfall, but which would be beneficial, but would cause some obviously flash flooding concerns. But that's it for our long-term future. Let's go on now and talk about the tropics. So right here you can see on your screen we do have this area that we're watching for disturbance 1 over here. It is pretty much I think it's probably not going to do much, but it says a broad area of low pressure over the north central Gulf is currently producing an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the next day or so. Slow development of the system is possible while it moves generally west to west-northwest across the northern Gulf. By this weekend, the system is likely to move inland, ending its chance for development. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall is possible for portions of the northern Gulf Coast through this weekend. So that's like places like Texas going into Louisiana, where they will receive a lot of rainfall, locally areas of heavy rainfall, as the system moves to the west and then moves into somewhere near Louisiana or Texas. But again, that's no threat for us over here in South Carolina. And I was just talking about the other thing that that just occurred on the models as well. If you go on and look at this, you see like this little thing. It comes all the way from pretty much all the way down from like South America, and then by the time you get past, it just brings its way up. If you go on and look at any other models, though, other models don't really have that. But so that's why I'm saying, that could just be one model run right there, and then that's pretty much it. But for now, I do think that, something to obviously monitor, but nothing for us to really talk about now. So that's it for tropics, the model, stuff like that. So let's go on real quick and talk about this. We're going to talk about the heat. Obviously, the main thing for that we're going to talk about tonight is obviously the dangerous multi-day heat wave that is upon us by the time we get from all the way from tomorrow. It starts as early as tomorrow, going all the way into like next week, like Wednesday. And so if you go on and look at, for example, the maximum heat index for the next 3 days, that goes all the way from Thursday night tonight, going all the way into Sunday night. Now, obviously, this does not stretch through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. But it does show something interesting. You can see here. Here it is right here. Maximum heat index values for the next 3 days. That goes from, again, Thursday going all the way into Sunday. And you can see that pretty much that brings all the way from, 113 near Charleston, or 111 near Georgetown, or 111 near Dillon. And that's the main maximum heat index values as we go, again, Thursday night going into Sunday. And so what I will say is that this might not even be going through the hottest portion. I honestly think that the hottest portion will probably be after Sunday, probably going to that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday time frame. I'm mainly looking at Monday for right now, especially as I'm looking at the models, because, obviously I do my research before I come on here and just start talking, just reading off stuff. And I've looked, and I think that Monday most likely will be the hottest day, unless things change. But, obviously we'll talk about it if things do change. And also one thing, I can actually show you Monday right now. So this is Monday right here. You can see right here, on the map over here inside of South Carolina, you have 105 up here in the upstate, 106, that's over there near Anderson, 105 Greenville, 111 in Columbia, Sumter, Florence, but, these obviously won't be the max. This obviously won't be the complete max heat index values. But you can see, that there are some areas, though, that get up to 114, 115, like I'm looking over here. Williamsburg, Georgetown County, 115. Dorchester, Berkeley County, 115. Colleton County, 115. And so that's why I think that Monday, honestly, will be one of the hottest days. Now, if you move all the way into Tuesday, Tuesday, it shows 109, 110, 111. That's good. And honestly, I think that, it could potentially try and beat Monday's temperatures. But for right now, in terms of the max temperature that I'm seeing on the models now, looking like Monday will be. But again, that does not mean that Tuesday or Wednesday won't be dangerous at all, because obviously it will be. And, some exact wording that I got actually from the National Weather Service at Charleston that I have from their special weather statement that they just posted. It says, conditions are becoming increasingly favorable for a heat wave to impact much of the region this weekend and continuing into much of next week as a hot dome of high pressure builds over the southeast United States. Dangerously hot and humid conditions are expected, with heat index values reaching as high as 110 to 115 degrees on Saturday and 112 to 118 degrees Sunday through Wednesday. This is expected to be a long-duration heat wave with dangerous levels of heat and humidity expected to last for many days. Overnight temperatures will provide little relief, with lows likely to only into the upper 70s to the lower 80s. And so that will also cause heat index values to be in the 90s or maybe even near 100 degrees at night. So 90 degrees to 100 degrees at nighttime. Now, again, that's not actual temperatures, but that is feel-like temperatures. So somebody, at somebody's house, it could feel up to 100 degrees while it's like 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. And so you can even look at it right here on my screen. This is, again, low temperatures for Sunday night. You have 80s from Columbia going to Sumter to Charleston, just inland to the inland low country, going into Myrtle Beach as well. And somebody, like I said, will potentially have a heat index value at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at 100 degrees. So there's going to be no relief at all. No matter how late it is, it's still going to be feeling hot outside no matter what time you go out, because even during the nighttime hours, it's still going to be hot, or at least warm for that matter. But that's it for our low temperatures and just what I want to show, because I just want to make sure that these low temperatures are not slept on either by the time we get all the way into next week as well. And then, this also will have the chance to produce some excessive heat warnings, excessive heat watches. I think we've already seen some already in the PD region, but I think a lot of other regions haven't made excessive heat warnings yet, but they could potentially be coming. and not just heat advisories as well. So that's, a step above just regular heat advisories that you may see. So let's go on now and talk about the drought. So I'm going to go in and put the screen up right back up real quick, because I left a poll inside the chat, and I said, what's your drought monitor predictions? 57% says drought and abnormally dry is gone. 14% says abnormally dry stays. 14% says abnormally dry has expanded, and 14% says a drought has started. So we are about to go on and reveal that right now for what the actual answer was. And let me go on and get my soundboard up real quick. The answer, and who actually got it right, was the 14% that says the abnormally dry has expanded. Which obviously, I probably shouldn't be applauding that, but I'm applauding the people that got it correct. So not the abnormally dry, expanding. But 14% that said abnormally dry expanded, you got that correct. And so this expanded all the way from like northern Spartanburg, Greenville County, going into Cherokee County, going to York, Richland, Lexington, Newbury, Lawrence, going into Greenwood, Abbeville, Anderson, Oconee, and also up here like near Chesterfield and Lancaster as well. So no drought. No drought has started. The abnormally dry is not gone, which is what most people have said. And the abnormally dry technically did stay, but so I guess you can get half credit. But for the person that said that or for the people that said that it expanded, you were correct on that. So, but you can see it here again. Nothing moved into like the Southern Midlands, the Low Country, the PD, the Grand Strand, still looking fine, but needs some rainfall up here in the upstate. The upstate definitely needs the rainfall the most out of everyone else inside the state right now. Looking at the crazy score, we're at a 32. We're inside the moderate category. Noticeable weather conditions such as moderate rain, wind, or minor storms. So that is obviously due to some fog possible tonight, but that's a nightly occurrence at this point. Also, a few leftover showers, isolated storms may linger, but most areas remain dry, obviously. And then obviously just a warm and humid night tonight. So that's the reason why we are in the 32 range. And so that is all done with. Let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, if I can go on. Okay, there we go. Mr. Chris says, hello everyone from Moncks Corner. Had some strong thunderstorms roll through earlier about 6 p.m. and minor flooding in my area. So, that just already goes to show you that minor flooding is indeed occurring when forecasted, and it's still out there right now. But thank you so much for that weather update. I did get your picture, by the way. So I will go on and show that. You also don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button if not already done. It helps get this out. If you have not hit the like button or subscribe button, make sure you go and do so. We've had 18 people tune in and only 6 likes. So 12 people have showed up and just have not hit the like button at all. So if you are a part of that 12 people, go on and hit the like button. It's free. All you got to do is have an account. And if you're a part of that, and if you are also a part of the 18 people that have not hit the subscribe button yet, please do so. It takes like 2 seconds. My dad says, nice rainy day. Thank you so much for that forecast update and good evening to you. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, weatherman, good evening to you. Terrell says, hi, Joseph, hello to you, and then greetings, everyone, greetings to you as well. That says, good evening, Joseph, I trust all is well. Man, it was hot today. Please give me some good news tonight. We'll talk about San Antonio. Later. I'll tell you what's going on over there. My Aunt Lula says, good evening, nephew. It's great to be able to join you. I hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Great to see you. My cousin Cheryl says, good evening, weatherman. Hope all is well with you. Good evening, everyone. Please enjoy your weekend on purpose. Keep up the good work. Love you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that comment. And hopefully hopefully all is well with you, and hopefully you enjoy your weekend as well. Mr. Chris says, speaking of heat, what was the hottest temperature ever recorded in the Charleston area? That is a great question. The hottest temperature ever recorded in Charleston was, it says was around 100. Well, when we're talking about actual temperature, was 104, and that was set in 1985. But again, near the coastal region, so I think maybe if you went a little bit more inland, that might increase. But the hottest heat index temperature, that was 124. In 2011, Mount Pleasant got up to 124 degrees in terms of feel like temperature. So that was the hottest feel like temperature ever recorded. That was back again in 2011 at 124 degrees. And there's a potential, obviously, that we can see up to, close to 118 again as we move through this parts. They said that this probably will be some of the hottest, if not the hottest temperatures we've seen this for this year, just in general, from now all the way into December. But this 100% will be the hottest temperature that we've received so far this year. And again, it can get from all the way up to around 118, 120 degrees potentially in terms of feel like temperatures as well. That says, thank you, you are far too kind. I knew it expanded, so you were part of the 14%, and congratulations to you for getting that correct. And that is it. So let's go on now and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina, which usually takes, a minute or 2-3 minutes or so. That's obviously San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and Duncan, Oklahoma. So starting off first with San Antonio. Low temperatures tonight 75, high temperatures tomorrow at 96, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 76. No precipitation is expected at all tonight, and there is obviously a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and even tomorrow night as well. And so one thing that I will say is that, especially with your drought conditions that are going on, last time I checked, you were inside of the D3 drought. If I go on and look at you now, you are still inside of that D3 drought, so not much has really improved there, and obviously only a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, so you definitely do need some rainfall. Hopefully nothing, in terms of flooding, but you desperately do need rainfall over there. Going into, your severe weather, you do not have any sort of severe weather that is expected, and any sort of excessive rainfall as well is not expected either. Raleigh is the next location with low temperatures tonight at 73, high temperatures tomorrow at 97, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 78. There is no precipitation that is expected tonight or tomorrow. In terms of excessive rainfall, there is no excessive rainfall that is expected for the next 5 days. And if you go to severe weather, there is indeed no threat for any sort of severe weather. Philadelphia, low temperatures tonight at 74, and then high temperatures tomorrow at 97, low temperatures tomorrow night at 76. There is no precipitation that is expected tonight, and then tomorrow there is a chance of thunderstorms also tomorrow during the day and tomorrow night. You actually do have a chance for some severe weather tomorrow. It's a low chance, but I think you're right on that border of that, possible chance. So you kind of getting from the low chance to the possible chance, and that's you're pretty much close to that slight risk, which is the level 2 out of 5. That is a 15% chance of damaging wind, but the main epicenter of Philadelphia is in the 5%, which is that isolated risk. But if you're on the northern side of Philadelphia, you probably are inside of that risk. And then for excessive rainfall, there is indeed a chance for some excessive rainfall. I take that back completely. I guess they got rid of it. But no excessive rainfall expected for you there either. And then the final location being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 74, high temperatures tomorrow at 99, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 76. There is no precipitation that is expected, no excessive rainfall that is expected, and no severe weather. So that's it for those locations. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Flash flooding is likely in the northeast, Kansas, and Missouri into tonight. Widespread extreme heat will continue to develop and persist across much of the southeast this weekend and into next week. Tropical storm Crossa has formed and will continue to cause heavy rain across Guam and the CNMI through Saturday. Severe storms with flooding rainfall is expected into tonight for portions of the Midwest. So a lot of stuff going on. Air quality alerts going up. For Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, some fire conditions in Northern California and Southern Oregon as well. And then obviously the main one being obviously the flooding and the heat, though. So let's go on and look at this picture. This is a picture sent from Mr. Chris. He sent this picture. This was a thunderstorm that was rolling through Moncks Corner at 6 o'clock p.m. You can see the top going all the way through. You can see the cloud structure here. And it's pushing in. Again, he said that this was around 6 p.m. So thank you so much for the picture. If you want to send a picture to me, you can by sending them to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. And that is it for picture. I don't have anything else I don't see of. And I believe that is all in terms of the chat for tonight. Top fans for tonight. Mr. Chris was number 1, Trail was number 2, and then Thad was number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. And so that is, again, going to wrap it up. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button, make sure you're going to do so. We're at 545 subscribers, trying to get to 600, but we are 5 away from being, halfway there. We're at 545, trying to get to 555 away, and then we are 55 away from 600. So let's go ahead and get there, share it to as many people as you know. It's quick, it's easy, it's quicker than going to Krispy Kreme and getting yourself a donut, or it's quicker than going to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts to get yourself a coffee. It's quicker than all of that. So let's just go on and get there. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Friday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday.